New details emerging the day after a shooting left 3 people dead in Montreal, including an officer on duty. The alleged shooter identified, seemingly connecting what happened in Montreal to a city on the other side of the country. Good afternoon. This is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan. We begin with new details of Monday's tragic shooting in Montreal that left an officer and 2 others dead. The shooter has been identified as Seth Hatfield from Lethbridge, Alberta. Police say they are conducting a high-risk search of a home in Lethbridge as part of the investigation. This comes as CTV News confirms that police in Alberta are assisting Quebec's police watchdog in its investigation into the shooting. A statement from the University of Lethbridge also confirms Hatfield was a student at the school. The man's name is also the same one that appears on a manifesto found inside a hotel room near the scene of the shooting in Montreal. The dramatic scene unfolded in Montreal's Côté des Neiges neighborhood after police responded to a call about a gun protruding from the window of a hotel. An emergency alert was issued about an armed and dangerous suspect, and police locked down a large and busy section of the city for several hours. Montreal police have identified the fallen officer as 34-year-old Mohamed Lamine Bedredouine, a 5-year veteran of the force. A female police officer was sent to hospital with serious injuries. The civilian killed in the exchange of gunfire has been identified as Michel Mizrahi. The shooting leaving police officers across the country on high alert, with advisories going out to several services about increased vigilance. It comes after the suspect's manifesto reportedly called for officers to be targeted. CTV's Katie Griffin is here with what else we know so far. Katie.
Stefan, RCMP sending out safety notices as the chaotic scene unfolded yesterday, and once it was over, urging officers to remain highly vigilant and to exercise extreme caution. A more than 100-page-long manifesto was found in the hotel room of the alleged gunman, containing violent messages against women and police, along with themes inspired by the incel movement, blaming video games and pornography for increased loneliness in young men. Former Ottawa Police Chief Charles Bordelot says the document will form a big part of the investigation.
They'll do that by speaking to all his friends or acquaintances. They're executing a search warrant at his home in Alberta. They'll comb through social media and they'll try to piece together everything, all the information that is out there in order to paint a story, to develop a story as to what exactly was motivating this individual. Were police officers targeted? Was it anybody else being targeted? And what the motive was.
The RCMP says officers were reminded to approach calls with heightened awareness, request backup when required, support one another, and report concerns or suspicious activity through the appropriate channels. Now, this was the 3rd time a Canadian police officer has been killed in the line of duty in less than 2 weeks. Bordelot says while you can't really identify any trend or pattern right now, it is concerning when the deaths happen in a cluster, and that yesterday was a stark reminder about the dangers officers can be faced with and the split-second decisions they have to make. Stefan.
All right, CTV's Katie Griffin reporting live for us. Thank you, Katie.
Welcome.
In other news, a long-standing and well-loved family farm is at risk of closing. The family says their fate is in the hands of City Hall after a zoning permit was denied last fall. They say diversifying the business could guarantee survival, and now the Millers are giving it one more shot. CTV's Leah LaRock joins us live with the latest on this. Leah.
Well, Stefan, we know Miller's farm for the pumpkins and the berries, yet Ron Miller says he needs to diversify his operations to stay afloat. But he says he spent tens of thousands of dollars on legal fees to get his farm back in front of a committee next week, and he's calling this his final fight. The Millers have other operations on the farm, like trucking and excavation. As you said, last fall, the city denied the required zoning changes to keep them operating. So Miller's farm appealed to the Ontario Land Tribunal, and the province appointed a mediator to work with both sides. After months of negotiation, a new staff report is on the table, and the councillor for the area says he feels that this is the best path forward for everyone.
We got another kick at the cat for going back at it again, and if this works out, okay, and if it doesn't, then we're going to shut it down in the fall, because pumpkin season, that'll be it.
One of the biggest changes in this report is removing the topsoil bagging operations completely from the property. There will also be a limit on the total number of vehicles allowed on the property. Now, this will go to committee on June 30th, then council later in July. But remember, last time it passed without a problem at committee, but at council, the majority voted no. Stefan.
All right, CTV's Leah Rock with the latest on this story for us. Thank you, Leah. We are hearing from former Sens captain Brady Tkachuk for the first time since the blockbuster trade that sent him to the Florida Panthers.
I'm just, so thankful for, everybody that I played with, and most importantly, the city of Ottawa and the fan base. Everybody welcomed me from day one, treated me like I was from there, treated me like family, and I'll just never forget that. And spending 8 years in Ottawa was truly some of the most special moments of my life.
His comments come as fans in the city continue to digest the fact that he requested a trade to play alongside his brother Matthew in Florida. There's a wide range of reactions from Sens fans.
I wish him nothing but the best, and that's all I could say.
I think it's absolute crap that he requested a trade with 2 years left, especially being the captain too. I think obviously the Sens had to trade him to get something for him.
I think we need to change. Maybe this team that we're going to build now is going to be the team that's going to take us to the Stanley Cup playoffs and win.
Brady Tkachuk made his first appearance in a Panthers jersey at a news conference with the team's general manager today. He will wear number 8 in Florida. There are questions swirling tonight over the future of Ottawa's lacrosse team, the Ottawa Black Bears. After a 20-year absence and much fanfare, professional lacrosse returned to Ottawa 2 years ago. The Ottawa Black Bears became the 6th Canadian franchise in the National Lacrosse League. A partnership was formed with the Ottawa Senators, with home games played at the Canadian Tire Centre. But season ticket holders have received an email telling them the team will not play next season at the CTC.
I'm feeling really depressed because I'm a big lacrosse fan, and I know there are big lacrosse fans in the city. And just not knowing for an extended period of time was very frustrating. At least tell us, and then at least we know. But there was no communication.
Season ticket holders have been told they will receive refunds, but questions remain about the team's future. CTV Ottawa reached out to the Ottawa Black Bears, who directed questions to the National Lacrosse League. It has not responded to requests for comment. To the FIFA World Cup now, Team Canada is making its final preparations before taking on Switzerland in Vancouver tomorrow. The team back on the practice pitch today. Both Canada and Switzerland have 4 points through their first 2 games. Canada has a slight advantage in Group B due to a better goal differential. That means Canada would win the group by securing a victory or a draw against the Swiss.
I think we're in a great moment, and I think we just have to keep doing what we've been doing over the last game and last few games. I think it just all came together against Qatar, and we have to keep that momentum and keep pushing, and I think the guys are ready.
The match against Switzerland will kick off tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. The winner of Group B will then play a knockout match in Vancouver on July 2nd. And we will have live FIFA coverage tomorrow on CTV, so you can take in the action right here. We'll see you again at 5 p.m. on Thursday. You can keep up to date with us anytime at ctvnewsottawa.ca and the CTV News app.
The side effects were terrible. And then I actually remember saying to myself, I'm so glad I don't have to do that 6 more times.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, a Canadian study suggests less treatment for breast cancer could be just as effective. And our Jackie Perez is joining us live in studio for our first look at the forecast. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. It was a sunshine day here in the capital, and the good news is it will continue for another day. Right now, it feels like it is 23 degrees, but feeling more like 25. The humidity much more prevalent around Kingston, 20 degrees. Brockville, 23, but feeling more like 25. Gatineau, 25 degrees as well, and Kemptville sitting around 23 as well. Taking a look at what we can expect for tomorrow. Again, lots of sunshine, a daytime high of 26, but the winds are going to be much stronger with gusts between 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. Buckle up. By the time Thursday rolls around into Friday, we are anticipating precipitation moving in. We'll have those details for you and more in just a bit.
Thank you, Jackie. A live check on traffic right now. The westbound lanes of the Queensway are slow going from Parkdale to Woodruff. Eastbound is heavy from Maitland to Bronson, also from Riverside to Innis. The 174 eastbound out to Orleans has moderate to heavy traffic volume from the split to Montreal Road. And if you are headed south on the 416, it's slow around Robertson. You're watching CTV News at 5. Welcome back to CTV News at 5. A story for you now that highlights a whole new way of treating breast cancer with a less is more approach. And it could change how millions of women undergo cancer therapy every year. CTV's Avis Favreau on the Canadian-led study that's challenging long-standing medical strategies.
Good morning. What are you guys preparing today?
Beth Chavalia is convinced she's helped women around the world by taking part in an innovative Canadian study. Diagnosed with breast cancer, she was prescribed zoledronic acid, but instead of the typical 7 intravenous doses over 3 years, she got just 1.
The side effects were terrible. And then I actually remember saying to myself, I'm so glad I don't have to do that 6 more times.
The drug is used to cut the risk that breast cancer will spread to the bones, but it can also cause nausea, seizures, and kidney disease. So in the study of over 200 women in Canada, researchers found that just 1 treatment appeared to work as well as 7, with no differences in cancer spread or deaths, but fewer hospital visits for the women and fewer side effects.
We knew a single infusion would stay in the body for 10 years, so it made no sense giving the drug every 6 months. That's why this trial is so important.
Beth says she returned to her work at the Parkdale Food Bank much sooner, had more time for her family, and 7 years later is still cancer-free.
I will advocate as much as I can to make sure this information gets out.
It's part of a new push in cancer research called de-escalation, tailoring chemotherapy and radiation, where it's enough to still control the cancer, but with less suffering for patients and downtime.
We are now starting to ask questions about, it's not just about how long we live, it's also about quality of life.
Some doctors say more studies are needed, but others believe that for breast cancer patients, they now have an option.
I'd be totally confident with recommending my patients just a single dose.
Meanwhile, scientists say they're planning other studies to see if less cancer treatment may be as good, if not better, for patients. Avis Favreau, CTV News, Toronto.
We again had creative freedom, so I did kind of like an abstract approach of the American flag. He's got his jersey on with USA and like the face paint, so he's a hardcore fan of soccer.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, giant beavers taking over Toronto neighborhood to celebrate the World Cup. How an Ottawa artist is involved in the project. Here's what else you need to know. The inspection of the ceremonial guard is scheduled for this Friday morning at Rideau Hall. The annual tradition includes a military parade, inspection of the guard and band. The festivities get started at 10 a.m. We are just over an hour away from the next FIFA World Cup game. Coverage starts at 6:30, Panama versus Croatia. You can watch here on CTV, TSN, and Crave. Now for another check on the weather forecast. Jackie's joining us live in studio tonight. And Jackie, I must say it's fairly balmy and humid out there.
Yes, we are enjoying this first week of summer, Stefan, and the rain has been on a pause for quite a bit, but as we know that we are anticipating rain at the end of the week. How much? More on that in just a bit. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. It's 23 degrees out right now, and we are showcasing Parliament Hill, Chateau Laurier. Lots of sun shining through, and as we mentioned that enjoy the sunshine today, enjoy the sunshine for Wednesday, because by the time Thursday rolls around into the evening, we are anticipating showers moving in. And take a look at these overnight temperatures, 14 degrees, few clouds in the sky. The good news is that the wind can be quite calm for our overnight. Tomorrow will be a different story. At times we could see wind gusts between 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. Mainly sunny skies is also in store, so you want to lather on the sunscreen as well. Taking a look at the valley, 11 degrees overnight, partly cloudy skies. We've got northerly winds moving in. Sunshine also moving in for tomorrow in the afternoon. Daytime high 25 degrees. degrees, very similar as well when we look towards the Seaway. 25 degrees, the anticipated daytime high, but what we saw earlier, according to just humidity-wise, it could be about 3 or 4 degrees warmer than what we are seeing on our temperature radar. Now, as we take a look at Thursday, we are going to see much more cloud cover rolling in. It's not until the afternoon that we could see the rain and precipitation moving in. Around 2 o'clock, likely the Kingston area will likely see this, but for here in Ottawa, won't be until the overnight hours and into Friday, where early forecast showing between 5 to 10 millimeters of rain by the time Friday morning rolls around. So yes, the greatest chance for rain will be Thursday night into Friday morning, but you can see temperature-wise, we are going to be hovering around the mid-20s.
Weather is brought to you by Manotick Tree, complete tree care from start to stump.
And Ottawa First is part of a unique art project in Toronto as that city hosts the FIFA World Cup. The Beaver Scavenger Hunt features decorated 4-foot-tall statues of the iconic Canadian rodent, and each one is different. CTV's Peter Sperling explains.
Aaliyah Holmes's art is on display for the world to see.
Yeah, no, it feels great. Honestly, I'm super proud.
She's painted a 4-foot-tall beaver statue, one of dozens on display during World Cup celebrations in Toronto.
The biggest sporting event that's happening in Toronto right now, they're installing, I think it's something like 48 beavers, one for each country. And so I got to do the one for the U.S.
No two are the same. Each of the beavers hand-painted by artists with roots or connections to participating countries.
I applied for both the Canada or the U.S. one, and they gave me the U.S. one.
Holmes, born in Ottawa, holds citizenship in both Canada and the U.S.
It was just very exciting to be able to be American and Canadian and have my work somewhere in Canada for such a large event.
Her design features, of course, the red, white, and blue.
We, again, had creative freedom, so I did kind of like an abstract approach of the American flag. He's got his jersey on with USA and the face paint, so he's a hardcore fan of soccer.
But also a nod to America's vast landscape and different regions.
Of course, we have the Statue of Liberty, a lighthouse, a skyline, and some ocean as well. And then the tail is representing just outside of the mainland.
The Ottawa artist also recently creating a poster for a Red Blacks game.
They put out a call for artists to kind of create a poster for each of their games, and I got the opener game, which is super exciting.
And where does she find her inspiration?
Inspiration. Honestly, I do a lot of character work. I do a lot of work involving Black culture. So definitely my culture, my people, women is a lot of work I do as well.
The beaver statues are displayed throughout tourist-friendly downtown Toronto areas, near St. Lawrence Market and the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Just the energy is so great right now with all the different sports teams playing. Everyone's coming together and super excited. So it's just great to be a part of that.
Peter Sperling, CTV News.
And we want to hear your stories of people doing good, spreading joy, making a difference, or marking a notable achievement. We'll be showcasing stories that touch our hearts and make us proud of our city and the people in it. Simply Ottawa. You can send your story ideas to ottawanews@ctv.ca. Coming up on CTV News at 5, rolling into summer service. What to be aware of if you'll be traveling on OC Transpo over the summer. And if you need gas this evening, one of today's cheapest gas prices can be found at the Ultramar station on Stittsville Main Street. Regular gas there tonight is listed for 146.9 cents a liter. We'll be right back.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Here's another live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. The temperature right now, 23 degrees and plenty of sunshine. Time now for a look ahead to CTV News at 6. Here's Patricia Bull.
Thanks, Steph. Here's what we're working on for 6 o'clock.
It's really important that, all those things are, all those check boxes are checked off.
The gunman from a shooting in Montreal yesterday that left 3 people dead has now been identified. We'll have more on the new details that are emerging today.
We got another kick at the cat. We're going back at it again, and if this works out, okay, and if it doesn't, then we're going to shut it down in the fall.
A long-standing Ottawa family farm in a legal battle with City Hall that will determine the future of its business. Why the owner of Miller's Farm is calling this his final fight to try and save the farm.
I'm just, so thankful for, everybody that I played with, and most importantly, the city of Ottawa.
Former Sens captain Brady Tkachuk sharing a message with fans for the first time since he was traded to the Florida Panthers and introduced down in Miami for his new team. All of that and more coming up tonight on CTV News at 6. That's right after the early edition of CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo at 5:30. Steph.
Thank you, Patricia. Now the final 5 other stories we're following today. A long-standing popular Barhaven restaurant is closing its doors this weekend. Since 1991, Juan's Chinese Food on Fallowfield Road has been serving generations of residents with its fresh-made Cantonese, Szechuan, and Canadian Chinese cuisine. Now, after 33 years, its owners begin a well-deserved retirement. A note posted to its door offers a heartfelt thank you to the Barhaven community. Juan's last day is June 27th. Transit users in the capital will want to take note. OC Transpo's summer service schedule goes into effect this Sunday. It includes seasonal bus schedule adjustments, construction-related detours, and changes to O-Train Line 4 service. On summer weekends, Line 4 will run every 24 minutes. OC Transpo is doing preventative maintenance on buses to get ready for increased ridership in September and for winter operations. That means some summer routes will operate less frequently, particularly on weekends. New data shows trips from Canada to the U.S. are now on the rise. The latest figures show Canadians made 2.4 million trips to the United States in April, a nearly 2% increase compared to last year. But that is still 26% lower than in 2024. Health Canada has approved Zepbound as the first medication in the country to treat moderate to severe obstructive sleep apnea in adults with obesity. The approval marks a new development in the treatment of the condition, which affects breathing during sleep and can contribute to a range of health issues, including cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. Kawartha Dairy is teaming up with the Tragically Hip to serve up a new flavor of ice cream. The Tragically Chip is now available. It's maple whiskey flavored with dark chocolate chunks and a black cherry ripple. Some of the proceeds from sales will go to the Breakfast Club of Canada. That is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan Keys. Be sure to join Patricia Bull for CTV News at 6. The early edition of National starts now.